C Files. Hello, everybody. We're back. We're podcasting. We haven't podcasted in a few days, I don't think. Or
it's been a
it's been 2 days, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's been a while. How have you been? Our 0 viewers. Today we're going to talk about the Mandela effect and anything that really comes into mind. We're starting with the Mandela effect because we're pretty okay. My partner over here likes to call Mandela effect whenever she doesn't remember anything remotely the way other people remember it. Half the time she does it as a joke.
And I will allow some room for error because of level of high.
And how easily she forgets things. Here, take the mic, please.
We had a recent little incident last night
about Winnie the Pooh back to the Disney. How many people have heard that Winnie the Pooh is a girl? I'll tell you right now, it's a fucking lie. Don't believe it. Winnie the Pooh is a male.
Bullshit.
Winnie the Pooh is a male. There used to be a thing going around as well that said Piglet was a girl. But Piglet is also a male. I'm pretty sure all of them are male.
No.
Well, Rabbit's a female?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Rabbit's a male.
Well, and then
Kanga. There's Kanga. There's Kanga and Roo. Kangaroo. I loved that. But I love Winnie the Pooh so much. Yeah. Winnie the Pooh is one of my favorite childhood. The episode where he goes and tries to get up into the tree with the bees and he sings "I'm a little rain cloud." I know that entire episode. I know that entire episode by heart. Cuz I love that. I can hold on.
Please don't.
I'm so giving a neck. I'm singing. No one can stop me.
Okay.
I'm playing it too. You're stuffed with fluffies, Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, really silly old bear. Pooh, stuffed with fluffies, Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh. Dab. Oh, it's not done.
I was just hoping you were.
This enchanted forest.
Bitch!
Damn.
Which means he had the name over the door in gold letters, and he lived under it. Now, when Pooh heard his poo-coo clock, he knew it was time for something. But he was a bear of very little brain, so when he thought in the most thoughtful way he could think. Never thought of anything of you. No, neither have I. Think. Oh, yes. Time for my stoutness exercise. Up, down, up. When I up, down, touch the ground, it puts me in the mood. Up, down, touch the ground, in the mood for food. I am stout round, and I have found, speaking poundage wise, I improve my appetite when I exercise.
And there's actually our first Mandela effect.
Yeah. Well, growing up, we listened to that particular song over and over again because my sister, God bless her soul, is a little overweight. She personally related to that song in more ways than one. So she sang it probably
hundreds of times?
Millions.
Oh, okay.
Memorizing the lyrics. And recently we turned it on again because there was a discrepancy between my partner here's lyrics and my sister's. the part where he says, speaking poundage wise, my sister had memorized it as reaching far and wide.
Okay, yeah, but can we be honest? Your sister's a little.
She's a little special. But she sang that song enough times that I know she wouldn't have gotten it wrong.
Are you sure? Because
Yes. So, I don't know. Unless we have like a special copy or there's a different version of the song, definitely calling Mandela Effect.
that
Because that's like her
that
autistic
episode,
song.
That episode, that particular scene and song is actually from the 50th anniversary edition that I own on VHS. And it's, I think, one of the first like actual episodes that they played, because they didn't play, you know, now they have movies and TV shows and shit.
Yeah.
Those were originally like featurettes or something, and they weren't even, they're like 5 minutes long. They're not that long.
If I hop onto the network, I might.
Hop on to the network because I don't know, she's a nerd.
What? No, we
settled
I'm
on
not
geek,
a
I
nerd.
know.
How are you gonna do that?
Josie,
What?
you grew up watching geek shows,
So?
so you're a geek because you like them. Come on, Josie, you watch Doctor Who.
Dude, Doctor Who's awesome.
Doctor Who is good now, but I'm sorry, the first season looks like you need a doctor.
I did say
Kissy noises.
the first season is all.
Okay.
It's special.
It's all of it is kind of a little bit special because okay, nothing against people who like Doctor Who, because I have nothing against Doctor Who. I just can't watch TV shows that have horrible acting, so half the time I don't watch anything besides anime, because then at least it's okay to be retarded because it's an animation and I expect it to be retarded. But sometimes I can't even watch old movies because of old CGI, like Supernatural first season.
Oh my god.
That's oh man, painful memories. Painful memories, because when I first started watching that show, I was like, oh my god, it's so good. And now I'm like, oh, what the fuck was wrong with me? But I have a hard time watching Doctor Who.
That's fair.
Not that its plotline is bad. I think it's just, and not that the actors are bad. More like the plot is kind of wonky. Not the plot, the script. The script is wonky. What they say. The plot is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's about a fucking Time Lord that has like 4 hearts, doesn't he?
2.
Oh. I was making him more special than he needed to be. Yeah, you can tell that I haven't watched the show.
I can't control my way. Control Z out of here.
Okay, we need to go on with our Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Josie. Come on.
I'm not gonna be able to find him.
Here, come here.
I'm going. Oh my god. That was awesome. It's like my arm.
You gotta talk more. You know more
Okay.
about the Mandela effect than I do.
Alright, so Mandela Effect. I could look up a summary. But basically it started with Nelson Mandela, who alright, hold on.
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, okay. Do you want to read it or do you want me to? Because
Well,
I
have
can.
it right in front of my face, like right now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, hold on.
Ooh, grabbing the mic. Hold on.
Oh, I have it right here. I could do it. No? No. Okay.
I have it right here. I'm just reading over it so I don't fuck up.
Go ahead.
Okay. The first Mandela effect is the phenomenon is named after is Nelson Mandela, a prominent South African anti-apartheid I don't know how to say that, revolutionary and president from 1994 to 1999, died on December 5th, 2013, age 95 at 95 at his home in Howington. However, many people in different countries clearly remembered Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s. In the 1980s, some of them even claim to remember his funeral being broadcasted on TV. That's where it originated from.
Well, okay, something that article neglected to say, there are actual records and accounts of Nelson Mandela's death. There is an autopsy report. There is proof.
So do you think
he
that
died.
do you think that there is just a mix-up? It was the 1980s.
Yeah, it could have been a mix-up.
It could have just been,
Aside from-
this random black guy who kind of looks like Nelson Mandela died, so I think it's... Oh my god! Nelson!
Don't yell into the mic.
Nelson!
That's still ear cancer.
I know. That's why I did it.
Okay. But yeah.
Fucking
They're-
Nelson. Sorry. Here, you take it back. I'm too stoned.
Okay, so there are accounts of Nelson Mandela's death. Which, yes, could be a mix-up. But, you know, why not a way more believable theory of alternate universes, time jumping.
More believable. More believable.
More believable.
That's what... No.
There are multiple theories of the
That
the
is
Mandela
not
effect.
a
It's more believable.
theory. It's
Yeah,
more
well,
believable
well.
that there was a mix-up.
No.
I'm not saying that Mandela effect doesn't exist because I mean I still totally believe it's Oscar Mayer.
You just stop saying your like sentence and said it's Oscar Mayer. We haven't gotten to that yet. Okay.
Oh
Okay. So
man.
they thought he died in the prison back in the 80s. Many people believe, contrary to what people actually believed, his death was on December 5th of 2013. And because of false memories, some people just believe that their memories suck. I don't think you're devoted to this podcast, Miss Mystic Messenger in the corner there. No, they get to know. They don't get to like Mandela affect their way out of this.
I call Mandela.
Okay. So, some wonder if it's a piece of evidence of going to a parallel universe. Or if time travelers had gone to the past and affected our present, or if we're just all losing our minds. Some other ways, other mentions for the Mandela effect. I'm having trouble talking. Oh, I'm having a lot of trouble. So some other.
The Berenstein Bears.
Yeah, there's the Berenstein Bears
People
on
remember it being spelled a certain way, but
peop-
it's actually spelled.
people remember it being spelled the Berenstain Bears. Whereas it's different now. It's Stein, like Berenstein Bears. We can actually show that. Hold on. Yep, right here. And screen share. Screen share makes everything easier. See? This is just one of the examples of the Mandela effect.
I always remember it being the Berenstein Bears, not the Berenstain Bears.
I remember the Berenstain Bears.
I remember Berenstein.
Yep.
So, I mean... There's another one that I don't get, which is the Kit Kat one. Which is actually that's like right up there.
Yeah.
I never saw the one with the hyphen. I've only ever seen Kit Kat, not Kit Kat.
I thought it had a hyphen.
No, I've always remembered it being Kit Kat. It's supposed to be like the breaking sounds.
All right. In what universe does that make Kit Kat?
Well,
That's not a noise.
that's
that's
how it made sense to me, but it might just be me who thinks that.
Maybe like would make more sense.
But like no, because I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about.
And you can't be one of those fuckers who just pull out the full bar and just start nomming on it. No, you gotta fucking break them off.
No, like when you break it this way first.
Yeah, the normal way.
It almost sounds similar to when you say kit, but not like more like the frequency of it. I guess like the pitch in my voice. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now because I'm stoned as fuck and I'm not 100% sure what I'm talking about.
I think this is our messiest one yet.
Yeah, it is because of.
Oh, this one is a huge Mandela effect. Okay. Anyway, so this is one she was talking about, the Oscar Mayer. Isn't spelled that way. It's actually Oscar Mayer. Sex in the City, Sex and the City. Oh, right. We Are the Champions. The Queen's lyrics, actually, we checked out today.
Does not. So people have recalled hearing these lyrics as "We are the champions of the world" at the very end of the song.
Then, it makes sense that it would end with that.
Yeah, because I mean, in every other time that he says "We are the champions," he usually goes, "We are the champions, my friends. We'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions of the world."
Yeah.
Yeah. No, at the end of the song, he just, "We are the champions."
Yeah.
And fucking cuts it. What the fuck? It even sounds like it. The music continues as if,
as if he's actually
and he
still
looks
singing.
like he's gonna say something else, but he doesn't. And I'm upset because.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there could be different versions of the songs, because tons of people screw up on lyrics while they're singing. Like there are discrepancies in Panic at the Disco lyrics sometimes.
All right, well, I'm gonna pull up a lyric video then. Audio recording.
How about you just pull up the actual lyrics?
Well, because that's just people writing on a website. That could be wrong too.
No, you can look at the pictures of his actual scripts.
Oh, okay.
Okay, anyways. No, he definitely has a monocle. The Monopoly Man? Does he have a monocle or no?
Mm-mm.
No? I swear he does. Like the Pringles guy, because I always confused him.
We are the champions. It's just "We Are the Champions."
The tip of Pikachu's tail isn't black.
What?
No, it's black because look at his ears. It matches his ears.
Okay, wait, hold up. I think I actually have a photo that I drew of Pikachu with a black tail, like the end. Like on my Facebook. I think I actually have one. I'm gonna look.
No, Curious George has a tail.
No.
Yeah, he would grab bananas with it and stuff.
Mm-mm.
No,
I never remembered that. I agree with that one.
He had a tail. Yeah, that's a secret conversation between me and the fans. Right? Darth Vader doesn't say, "Luke, I am your father."
Oh, what the fuck?
You didn't know that?
No.
What?
My drawing of Pikachu doesn't have a black tail, but I remember it having a black tail.
Oh, right, I forgot you drew that.
What the fuck? Oh my god, okay. My pictures of Pikachu on here too also don't have a black tail. What the fuck? Oh my god. Josie.
Are you not okay? Josie, no, look at something I posted. Look at my face in the background. She's looking at all the drawings of anime characters.
When I was a weeaboo.
Fucking weird.
Hey, you want to know the worst part? I have an album on Facebook dedicated to Pokemon.
You're actually gonna watch this lovely little. Because this is a popular.
Is this Star Wars?
Yeah, it's the. Where he
I
says,
am your father.
yeah.
No, he goes, no. I am. Says no, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never seen this.
Oh, we should probably speed it up or something. Ow. It looks.
Useless to resist. Don't let yourself be destroyed as Obi-Wan.
Oh my fucking god.
Don't make me destroy you.
This is.
Luke, you do not yet realize your importance. You have only begun to discover your power. Join me, and I will complete your training. With our combined strength, we can end this destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy. I'll never join you. If you only knew the power of the dark side. Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. He told me enough. He told me you killed him. No, I am your father. No, that's not true. That's impossible.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. No, I am your father.
Anyone I have ever seen that knows that has always said, Luke, I am your father.
I know. It's. I mean, that is a very famous, well-known Mandela effect. Just because of fucking Star Wars was huge. I'm sitting on a crate. C3PO is an old gold. He had a silver leg? I fucking don't remember that shit.
I've never watched this, and even I don't remember.
Silver leg?
I've always seen him.
We had little figurines of him. Oh man. I'm not proud of that.
Oh man. I am not proud of that.
Mr. Rogers, were you a fan of that one?
Mr. Rogers, my sister watched that, not me. But I have the Mona Lisa.
This one is what stuck with me because that was some fucked up shit.
I've only ever seen the photo on the right.
On the right? The smiling one or
that one? The one your mouse is on. That's the only one I've ever seen. I've never seen the other one.
Yeah. That's just not the Mona Lisa.
No, that looks like a completely different lady. Like her hair seemed. Well, I mean, like they look similar, but like she kind of looks like the girl who played Dorothy in.
She kind of looks like Lady Gaga.
Yeah, kind of that too.
Yeah, I've only seen the Emotionalist, like I just remember because in second grade, my art teacher, well, actually, she was the teacher for the class. She'd have us sit out in the halls, and they put art up in the halls, and she had us stare at the Mona Lisa for 2.5 hours, studying and thinking of reasons why she would be emotionless.
Because that's how people depicted their royalty and their...
That was solved within the first 5 minutes. Then after that, you had to be creative.
She hated whoever painted it. She was sitting for hours.
Maybe
by the time he got to her facial expression, she was upset because she had to sit.
I
for
came up
hours.
with like a story that she had been married to a man and the man cheated on her, and right before, like, she had agreed to paint this, like to sit for this painting. She sat for the painting, but then she found out the artist of the painting was the one that her husband cheated on her with. That's what I did.
So Marissa, I'm not even gonna have to set up anything. I'm so excited. Sorry, I forgot we were live. I don't even have to set anything.
All right, I'm going. Sorry. Fucking, I'm getting all. All right, so yeah, Kit Kat. What?
Sinbad genie movie from the 90s, but there isn't one. I don't remember that. Maybe because I'm not a 90s baby, but I'm close.
No, there was definitely one. Marina loved it.
No, my sister probably hasn't heard. Forrest Gump. Life isn't like a box of chocolates. No, that's what he says.
He says life was like a box of chocolates. Not life is like a box of chocolates.
No, he
All right,
says
Hannibal Lecter's line, "Hello, Clarice," is so fucking famous. I mean, it is.
How did so many people fucking just remember him being like, "Hello, Clarice"?
Even
But he never says that.
Even the fucking actor did it.
Yeah.
People have made fun of it in movies for fucking generations. It's bullshit. He said, "Hello, fucking Clarice."
Is it an interview with the vampire or interview with the vampire?
Yeah. I don't know that one. So. The Queen in Snow White never said "mirror, mirror on the wall."
She says mirror on
Magic mirror.
Yeah, magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. I always heard mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all, because I used to say that into the mirror all the time trying to get it to work, but I never did.
Oh my god. Oh
my goodness, I gotta take a picture of that.
My dog fell asleep with her tongue sticking out of her mouth.
Oh
I'm kind of worried she might bite her tongue off.
Hey.
Oh,
Hey.
Spooked her. She was having a bad dream. Bad trip. Jiffy peanut butter doesn't exist.
Jif, it's one F, isn't it?
Yeah. I remember Jiffy.
Or it's two F's and just no Y.
No, it's just Jif.
Okay. That was right.
I remember it being Fruit Loops. Like this Fruit Loops.
I remember Fruit Loops.
Like the
Yeah.
doors. Yeah. Yeah, this guy's like, "We are the champions," definitely ends with "of the world." I agree. Phil Nelson, who works at Mizou. Like, this is new, huge.
Hey guys, good evening. Welcome to my channel. We're discussing. Thanks for joining in tonight. Welcome all Mandela Effect. Hey guys, I'm here to bring you light, to shed light on these Mandela effects. And Teresa Lynch has pointed out to me about Dr. Pepper. Actually, I kind of noticed this last week when I was at Taco Bell, and the Dr. Pepper looks very, very strange. See the saffron here, that P was not like that. The P was connected much like these. It looks like fake. That one changed a few months ago. The Burger King.
Wow, a lot of. Huh, interesting. Let's get out of there. What are you doing?
I'm waiting.
For what?
For you to finish what you were doing.
What? Okay, what else was I doing?
I don't know.
I don't know. What are some other Mandela? What?
I don't know. I don't have any really personal experiences, so I feel like we can kind of branch off of this topic if we
Yeah.
wanted to.
Well, we could talk about the theories of parallel universes and virtual realities.
I
I'll turn off
100% believe in alternate universes or like parallel universes.
Yeah.
I believe in that 100%.
Yeah. Absolutely. I don't know.
I also think past lives exist.
Do you believe in reincarnation then?
Yeah.
Okay, so reincarnation.
Well, because I'm pretty sure I have been reincarnated a few times.
Yeah.
And my parents are too, because I guess when I was like a toddler, I'd say like weird ass shit that like there's no way that me, a toddler, should know about.
Yeah.
And like say it in a way that like isn't put by a toddler. Like it wasn't like. My dad said that I used to say full on sentences of words that sometimes even he couldn't pronounce.
Yeah.
And like that's just not something a 2 or 3-year-old could do. I'm sorry, but like, can you imagine if your 3-year-old looked you in the eye and said, "I died of pericardium"?
Pericardiomyalgia. I don't know. I was just trying to make.
Fibromyalgia.
Oh, we shouldn't make fun of that. That's
No, I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying like that's
medical condition.
it is a serious medical condition. That's why it's hard to fucking say.
Yeah, you know it's serious when you can't say it. I really did have an experience with something along the lines of that. When I was a kid, I used to be like ridiculously patriotic. I mean, like someone said something bad about America. I was like, America is a great country.
America.
Like, I would jump on their ass and be like, men and women have fought and died for this country. I was very serious.
That's really funny.
And it was really fucking weird, okay? Because it's not like I read any history books, but I knew the history of America.
Dude, do you know what else? Okay, there's this theory out there that your birthmarks are how you've died in past lives.
Yeah.
I have 3 birthmarks. I have 2 birthmarks on my legs, and then I have a birthmark right by my chest on the side. My theory is that I've died twice of like lethal injection.
Why?
In my leg, because so I feel like in past lives I would definitely be a criminal.
Well, yeah, makes sense.
And then I think I got shot once. I don't know. I think my oldest one would be the most faded one, which is this one on my leg, which means I was lethally injected first, which means I'm probably not that old.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long they've had lethal injection.
Well, I mean, it's been around for a while.
Unless it was like old, like inject with poison.
I mean, if you were on like death row for lethal injection, you could have been live for 50, 60 years.
Well, that's true.
There are people still waiting to fucking just die.
Well, I just mean like in the terms of like I wouldn't have existed in the Victorian era is what I meant.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I guess it's possible I could have too, because
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Well,
I also think the shape has something to do with them, because mine are oddly shaped. Usually people are like, I have this big ass mole.
Yeah, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
Just keep talking.
And I don't know. I always said it kind of looks like a dragon blowing fire, but now it kind of just looks like Australia and a noodle. So I'm not 100% sure. My dad has 2 birthmarks. He has one at the very top of his head on his forehead, and then at the base of his neck behind, like on the back of his neck. So his theory is that he was shot executioner style. And I can picture that, because I mean those are pretty weirdly placed birthmarks in places that when someone is killed, those would be the entrance and exit marks, would be forehead to the back of the base of the neck. So I mean, I don't know. I think I believe in that theory a lot. I also believe in past lives a lot. I've read some pretty weird like stories of like kids basically being like, I died and it was cold, but then it was warm, and there was light, and I was waiting for my new mom. That's weird. A bunch of kids should not be saying that. And like, where did they get it? Where did they get that saying from? Especially if there are like lots of kids that are young enough to like they shouldn't know too much. So that's pretty weird. Let me just look up something. Past stories. Okay, there's this one by a username called Cordy88. It says, "My brother grew up being terrified of water. I'm 4 years older than him, and during the nightly battle of bathing him when he was about 3 or 4, I asked him why he's so scared of water. Being a water baby, as my mom put it, I just didn't understand. He looked at me, and I remember this word for word. I was in a big, unsinkable ship. We hit the biggest iceberg, and then it was really busy, and then I got really cold and wet. I went to a warm, bright place and waited until my next family came. My mom heard it all and decided bath time was over. Creepy thing is, my brother was born April 15th, 1992. The Titanic sunk April 15th, 1912. I think that's pretty terrifying. There's another one by someone called Qbaxter77 that says, "My 3-year-old nephew was over at my parents' house where my dad has a military collection from World War II. When I went to show him some of the stuff, he started crying, so I asked him what's wrong. He replied, 'Bad memories, a lot of friends lost.' I asked him where, and he continued, 32 Tank Division in the South Pacific, only tank in the Pacific Theater. Immediately went to the internet, and he was on spot. Nearly shit myself." That's kind of terrifying. Can you imagine if, like, any of your relatives, like, were like, "I'm scared of water because I died in the Titanic"?
That, yeah.
That was the story that I read before that one, where
Yeah. Here's
his
another thing.
brother.
I used to have a weird obsession with the Titanic. And Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart was my hero for a while there.
I had a really big obsession with the Titanic, too.
Yeah. I don't know why. I was really, really convinced that there was, like, a greater conspiracy.
I always got super sad at the one scene of the Titanic where this old couple is laying in their bed.
I actually never saw the movie.
What?
I didn't want to. Because I don't feel it could accurately measure anything. Like, I mean, they just add so much drama and so much.
Well,
that
no,
wouldn't
because I'm
have
pretty sure the people who got the story about the Titanic got from Rose, the person who was on the Titanic.
Yeah, but people who are famous tend to lie for more. I guess for
She wasn't famous
dramatic effect.
though.
Rose? She got pretty famous after.
After, but during the time she
Yeah,
wasn't
during.
famous, and she probably didn't know that she was gonna get famous for it. I mean, she was talking to a bunch of people who were looking for that Titanic. She didn't even know that they were gonna make a movie about it.
Okay, that I guess.
Like,
I would like facts. And I don't trust people, so I'm not gonna trust what she's saying because she could be lying. But yeah, I did have a really weird.
the real story of the Titanic was told by a survivor of the disaster through a letter which surfaced after a man bought it at an auction approximately 2 years ago and asked help via Reddit to translate it from French to English. If it is authentic, the translated letter offers insight in the night when almost 1,500 died when the massive vessel collided with an iceberg and sank. The scenes are vividly depicted by Rose Amelia Icard, a Frenchwoman who traveled with Martha Stone, a widow of Canadian telephone company Bill Size president, and both the heroic and cowardly gestures are marked. The real story of the Titanic was told by a survivor of the disaster through a letter written more than 43 years after the vessel sank and surfaced over 1 century later. The note, written in French, is dated August 8th, 1955, belongs to Rose Amelia Icard, a French woman who was believed to have made to American passenger had been who to have been a maid to American passenger Martha Stone, the widow of the president of the company. The duo boarded the Titanic in Southampton, and they were traveling first class back to the United States when the tragedy occurred. Both women were saved from the sinking ship in one of the lifeboats, and it was thought that the letter was written to a woman linked to the disaster, believed to be called Madame Hussein? I don't
Close
know.
enough.
But the name is not 100% accurate, and it does not appear on the list of survivors. Even if it is not authenticated yet, it is believed that Icard wrote the letter about the night the Titanic sank from her home in Chernobyl at the insistence of her family. She died in 1964 and was the longest living French person to have survived the tragic incidents. I don't know, that seems pretty accurate. I feel like it could be true, but it could be fake. But I don't know. That just I mean, when you watch the movie, it's not that dramatic. It's not.
Survivor of the Titanic. It just seems sketchy.
Well, no, the person was real.
Yeah.
They just don't know if she's the one who wrote the letter.
Yeah.
So they know, like.
No, I'm just. What if there's a reason why she survived and so many didn't? Just saying.
Well, the story of her survival is that her and her person that she was having an affair with.
Yeah, but all of that could have been fake.
It could have been, but it could have been real as well.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. I don't think there's a greater purpose that this one random ass woman survived the Titanic. I'm sorry. But what alternative motive would people have to save a French fucking maid?
Maybe it was her plan to kill them all along.
That makes no sense. It makes more sense that she was
It's
just
just a
someone who
conspiracy.
happened to survive.
You're taking this way too seriously.
I'm so stoned right now. I don't know how to tell if you're being sarcastic or
If
not.
I'm laughing, it's not real.
I can't tell if you're laughing.
More accurately, when I was a kid, I found records. I wasn't really. I don't know, fifth grade. Yeah, fifth grade. So yeah, I was a small child, but I found records of like right before the Titanic set sail. I think it was the captain, the original captain that was supposed to fucking pilot, fucking drive the fucking boat. I'm fucking. He like called in sick and didn't show up, so it ended up being someone else. And I thought that was interesting.
That could be
And
fake.
then someone had stolen someone else's boarding pass, and they found the person dead by the docks.
I mean, okay,
So someone
but
snuck
listen.
At least one person snuck onto the
Titanic. The Titanic was like the biggest thing in that time. It sunk in 1912.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. Like, can you imagine being a person in the town that the Titanic was going to sail from? Do you know how many people probably wanted to be on that boat? Probably a lot of people. So I'm not surprised that someone was killed, because it's totally plausible that the person was like, fuck it, I want to be on the Titanic. I can't afford to buy a ticket, so I'm just gonna fucking kill this motherfucker and take his ticket.
My theory is they wanted the Titanic never to be built. Because during construction, a great deal of people died from pretty sketchy causes. Like iron bars smacking them down, like...
Well, yeah, but you also have to
iron
understand...
bars that had been tethered down, had been released, they said, due to high winds, and had swung and
Okay, but can you
threw
imagine
people
what
off.
kind of fucking equipment they had in 1912? Or earlier than that, because they were...
I imagine these are construction people.
But that doesn't... It was like
There's-
before 1912. It was like
They're
1910
building a
probably.
boat. They know how to
1910.
tie something down.
But that doesn't mean the material that is tying those things down is strong.
Well, it didn't say that it broke. It said that it come loose, like it had untied.
Okay, well, perhaps they're retarded. It was
Well, okay, that's
1910,
fair.
Josie.
Yeah, I mean, vaccinations were a bit worse than they are now. Okay, so yeah, the sinking of the RMS Titanic, 1503 lives.
Okay, hold on. This is completely unrelated, but
Okay.
MIT scientists created a psychopath AI by feeding it violent content from Reddit. And it
Oh,
shows
yeah.
a photo, and it's just like this skeleton thing with teeth and eyes. And then someone commented, "Hey, quick question. What the fuck?" Like, why is that why? What the fuck?
Ooh, here's a theory. Here's a theory of purposely sunk the Titanic. Wow, we've moved straight to Titanic talk.
I know, right?
It was sunk on purpose to eliminate the opposition to the creation of the Federal Reserve Bank. Some of the wealthiest men in the world were aboard the Titanic for its maiden voyage, several of whom included John Jacob Astor the Fourth. I don't know Roman numerals. Benjamin Guggenheim and
Guggenheim.
Isidore
Guggenheim.
Strauss were allegedly opposed to the creation of the U.S. Central Bank. All three men died during the sinking. Conspiracy theorists suggest that J.P. Morgan, the legendary 74-year-old financier who set up the investment bank firm that still bears his name, arranged to have men board the ship and sink it to eliminate them. Morgan named the Napoleon of Wall Street had fuck, I'm so fucking high. Had helped create General Electric, U.S. Steel, and International Harvester, and was credited with almost single-handedly saving the U.S. banking system during the Panic of 1907. That was the crash of the New York Stock Exchange. That happened. Didn't that happen? What day? It happened in October. It happened same time as my birthday.
Really?
Yeah. Stock crash.
We're gonna have to
Yeah, we'll have to cut this
cut short now.
Morgan, blah blah blah. So there are many theories to the crashing of the Titanic.
Da-dum bum bum bum. Conspiracy files.
Usually we do like a little summary of what we talked about.
Oh, okay. Well, we talked about
The
Mandela effect and alternate universes and the Titanic
parallel
and past lives and birthmarks.
So we covered some of the topics, but we will probably return to all of these at some point in the future.
I think our next podcast is going to be about our own personal paranormal experiences and potentially paranormal plans for the future.
Yes. All right. So thanks for listening in, and we'll sign off.
Dun, 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 dun. Conspiracy files. Boom, boom.